we have a truck here that's been sitting, not used much, but we're gonna do a full detail on this, and we're gonna also be cleaning the engine compartment. That's gonna be one of the first areas you wanna clean because that's gonna create the most mess, and you don't wanna go back cleaning the areas you've already cleaned. So let's start with underneath that hood. So this truck's been sitting a while. It's used only periodically. And as you can see on the hood, it's been sitting underneath trees. So I love nature and I love cars, but let's see if these two are really combined together. Wow, there might be a squirrel under here. I might be having to evacuate a nice squirrel home, but let's find out. So I'm gonna have to bring out some of the big guns. We're gonna bring out a vacuum. We're gonna suck up a lot of the big stuff. Bring out an air hose. I'm gonna blow out all the cracks and crevices. And then I'm gonna have to get a little more powerful. I have to use Optimum Power Clean and a pressure washer. So let's get to it. All right, now we got that all cleaned up. I don't know what to do with that. Now we're gonna blow everything out, just get a lot of this extra little access stuff off the cracks, crevices, and even up here on the cowling. So I'm gonna grab the air hose and we're just gonna blow that out and get that out of there. Oh, look, we didn't find a squirrel, but I found a little nest. Huh. Holy smokes. I mean, it's already 100% better. I mean, we could just, whatever. No, we gotta go further. All right. I don't want to look like I'm getting electrocuted from Home Alone 2, so let's throw off to the side because we're gonna bring out the big guns. Got my little, forgot to turn it on. All right. That's better. A little bit of moisture. Never hurt anybody. Then we're gonna take our Optimum Power Clean now. I'm gonna spray this over the surface. I'm gonna let it dwell for a bit and really cut in there and do what it's supposed to do, which is just break down that grease and grime so we can make it so much easier to remove. And then while it's also dwelling, I'm gonna do some agitation with some brushing to kind of loosen that stuff up so when we rinse it and this thing dries down, it's clean, as possibly clean as it's gonna be. So let's get to this spraying action. Now, sure, I could have put it in a pump sprayer, I could have done this easier, but you know what? I choose to do it the hard way. I want to work out those muscles in my hands, you know? Just get a little more strength so I can say I went to the gym. So, you can already see that it's breaking down this grease and grime right here on the cover. And then this is going to be a wonderful visual because this power steering pump reservoir it's already knocking off that years of grease and grime that's been on there and just sitting. So this truck honestly is gonna look brand new when we're done with it. And that's just with the engine bay. Imagine what we're gonna be able to do with the rest of the vehicle utilizing the whole entire Optimum Polymer Technology line. All right, got some power clean on there. We're gonna let her dwell for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back, do some agitation with the brush, and then we're gonna rinse it down, and we'll check out the results then. And the transformation on this, honestly, should be night and day difference. So stay tuned. So now that we've already sprayed down the engine bay with Optimum Power Clean, I'm going to use my toothbrush to scrub down this. This is the old one. I got a new one. It's newer, it's new improved, but this is a great brush. It's good for cleaning the engine. So we're going to get into it. We're going to safely scrub this down, clean her up with the soft bristles that are just wonderful to clean the surface and super safe to clean it as well. So we're just gonna agitate everything where the power clean's been sitting so we can get all that grease, grime, and old nature off of this engine bay. So now scrub everything down. Get into areas that you can with the bigger brush. Now, for the smaller areas, you're gonna want something that's a little bit smaller. So you can get in there, kind of get a little more detailed with it. So don't forget to have both of these brushes while you're doing this, so you can give your engine compartment the absolute clean and safe agitation as you clean her up. Make sure you kind of go over all the big areas here. Get everything on those emblems, the oil, the dipsticks, power steering, reservoir. Look at that, she's gonna look pretty. I'm gonna have to use my little makeup brush here to just make her a little pretty. Look at that, she's blushing. And that is kind of it for the bigger brush. Now, I'm going to take my smaller brush here. I have a little bit of power clean with me. We're just going to get into the tighter areas, kind of go over everything and do a little final cleanup and agitation so that you have all that little detail aspect. So when the engine compartment is clean, it just looks so much better. Plus, I'm able to get in there around that oil spout, get in down onto the valve cover a little bit more. There's a little more items there. Around the drain, or the around the oil dipstick as well. The trans dipstick. Get that all cleaned up, agitate that. A little more power clean here. So I sprayed a little bit of power clean into the brush because I want to make sure that we've got everything there. And we got a little more product on it so we get a little more workability over the surface, because yes, as the product dwells, it breaks things down, but it also kind of evaporates a little bit. So we just kind of want to have a little more product on there so that we can actually make sure everything is good, because you can spray it on the surface or you can spray it on the brush. It's totally up to you and what you want to do. And the reason I'm going to agitate a lot of this too is because I don't want to just take the power washer and throw the power washer down in there. There's a lot of electronics. We don't want to oversaturate or force water into areas that we don't want them to be. looks like we kind of got everything. So now, I'm going to take the power washer, I'm going to rinse everything down, and then we're going to see how it turns out. That's going to expose a lot of what we may have to go back over, or may not. So, let's find out. We're gonna let that drip dry, and then we're gonna come back and see how she looks. So stay tuned. So I went ahead and I sped up the drying process of this engine, and what I wanted to do is make sure that we got all the cracks and crevices blown out by using compressed air. Now you can use the vacuum on the blow side to blow everything out. You can use a leaf blower to kind of get in there and move the water and get everything aerated out, and it speeds up the process nicely. So makes it a little bit nicer and quicker. So you don't have to sit around, get sidetracked, doing other things, having your ADHD kick in and go, ooh, squirrel, and you're done. So now we're gonna get into putting some tire dressing onto all the plastic trim and trim pieces underneath the hood so that we can bring back that luster, because some of these, because it's been neglected, have a little discoloration to them. So we're gonna try to bring them back and make it look a little more appealing. And just in case, I am gonna have a brush with me just to get around some stuff, just to kind of get in there and make it look more detailed in that standpoint. So I am going to spray this directly on some of the surfaces. You want to make sure that when you are cleaning the engine that it's not hot, because that sudden rush of heat to chemicals is going to have them dry out. It's not going to get much cleaning, and then when you go to put a dressing on, it's going to make it all blotchy and weird looking. So we don't want that. We want to make sure it's nice and uniform looking. So we're just going to spray this over some of the areas. This doesn't have any product or chemicals in it. They're going to dry out your hoses or any of the trim. So we're just putting this on pretty much to give it a nice even look. I'm going to come across with the brush, kind of brush over stuff, get that into certain areas, and then we're going to take the towel and kind of wipe up the excess, because there will be some excess. you see some sudding going on here. That's not because there's any chemicals or anything on the surface. That's actually the tire shine. It has a little bit of some cleaner in there, so we also clean and shine at the same time. So it's not like it's anything crazy. Again, it's not a chemical that's going to be harsh on any of the surfaces, drying them out, cracking them, or causing any damage. So just continue to do what we do. You know what? Because you got a little access down here too. Need a little more in some areas. Pick a little bit up, carry it with you. Alrighty, now we're done there. Grab a nice clean towel here. I'm just gonna kind of wipe over everything and get rid of the excess product. And we're gonna finish up with a beautiful, clean looking engine. No more squirrel's nests. No more leaves, pine needles, no more pine cones. Let's see, what else was there under here? No more nests for bees or bugs. We kind of got them all cleaned up and out of the way. Got them evacuated. They're down in Florida in the nicer weather, so we don't have to worry about them. Somebody else can worry about it. Well, I think that's pretty much it. We got everything looking pretty doggone good, I'd say, for what we came from to what we are now. So, with that, it's that simple to clean the engine bay. Just make sure you start with it and the engine's cool so the chemicals don't dry out fast because of the heat, and you start here because you make a mess on everything else. Now I gotta clean the rest of this truck. So stay tuned. We're gonna be doing some more videos on this neglected truck that's just been sitting there in the woods. So like, follow, and share, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm a one-take wonder.
Just go ahead and set that down.